Welcome back. Today we explore this beautiful old farmhouse with an unusual addition around the back. Not only is this farmhouse a Grade 2 listed building, but it also includes a scheduled ancient monument, the ruins of Leigh Castle. Despite its ruinous condition, having been used as a source of stone for the construction of later buildings, the Tower Keep Castle at Lower Leigh is a good example of this class of monument. The extant and buried remains of the Tower Keep provide significant information about the construction and development of Tower Keep castles in the Welsh Marches. The buried deposits within and immediately surrounding the Tower Keep contain artefactual remains, which provide important evidence about the social standing and lifestyles of the castle's inhabitants. The importance of the castle is further enhanced by the documentary references regarding its ownership in the 14th and 17th centuries. The Tower Keep is believed to have been built in the late 13th or early 14th century for the Corbett family. The earliest known occupant, Robert Corbett, is mentioned in the document of about 1328 to 29. The Corbetts were still in possession of the castle in 1645 when Parliament ordered a royalist garrison to be removed and the castle destroyed. A farmhouse of probable 17th or 18th century date was built immediately next to the Tower Keep to the south. The farmhouse was enlarged in the mid-19th century and contains a wooden panel inscribed with a date of 1560, which has been reset into the modern extension. A 19th century cart shed and granary about the remains of the Tower Keep to the north. The Tower Keep, a farmhouse, cart shed and granary are all listed buildings Grade 2. The Tower Keep is rectangular in plan, with three of its walls extant and standing to a maximum height of 9 metres, with walls about 2.5 metres thick. The tithe map of 1844 shows the outline of the Tower Keep prior to the demolition of the northern part of the building and the construction of the granary and cart shed. It would appear from this map that the Tower Keep was originally about 16 metres long. The foundations of the northern part of the building, together with the contemporary remains of internal floor and external yard surfaces, survive as buried features. The Tower Keep is a 3-storied structure with a basement, a first-floor hall and private chambers above. It is constructed of coursed limestone rubble with dressed sandstone around the door and window openings. In the southern wall of the basement is a splayed opening, blocked with stone and incorporating a modern wooden lintel. Along the western wall, the division between the basement and the first floor is marked by a scacrement, a ledge created by the additional thickness of the lower part of the wall to support floor joists. At first floor level, in the southwestern corner of the building, are the remains of 2 blocked doorways. Access to the first floor from outside was through the doorway in the southern wall, visible as a pointed, 4-centred arch with a portcullis groove and drawbar holes. Next to this doorway in the southern wall is a splayed window opening adjacent to an external stone balcony with a dressed sandstone plinth and supported by 4 dressed sandstone corbels. Access from the first and second floors would have been by means of an internal circular stairway, remains of which were noted in 1858 prior to the demolition of the northern part of the building. In the 1940s, excavations undertaken in the course of building work close to the Tower Keep found the remains of an arch about 5 feet, 1.5 metres wide and 5 feet high. A newspaper report from the 28th of August 1942 describes the findings. Leigh Castle. At the Lower Leigh farm has been uncovered an archway of sandstone, apparently a window enclosed in rectangular stone frame. The shape is almost semicircular on the top, but not quite, nor is it pointed. The window frame was visible from the outside before, but not from the inside, and the inside view is to be hidden again by a ceiling at once. Embossed on the sides of the frame are 7, at least, stone rosettes of about 3 inches diameter. There is also visible 1 stone beam support. On the inner sides of the uprights of the archway are grooves, as though to allow a window or door to slide in them. I believe the farm has been a tenanted farm for most of its history and belonged to the Oakley family estate. On the 1841 census, the occupants are the Simmons family, with William Simmons as head. He's aged 35. His wife Mary is aged 35 too. They have 5 servants: Thomas Probyn, aged 30, John Kinsey, aged 25, James Everall, aged 30, Mary Jenkins, aged 25, and 15-year-old Jessie Priest. I was unable to find the farm on the 1851 and 1861 census, despite searching under the parish and village name. I found an old newspaper article regarding a dispute at the farm between the owner and tenant. It stated that a gentleman named Thomas Speke bought the farm in 1867 from a Reverend Arthur Oakley and rented it out, but I could not place Speke or Oakley at the farm between 1841 and 1870, but I do find Thomas Speke at the farm on the 1871 census. He is aged 50 and a farmer of 300 acres. His wife Mary is aged 45. They have 5 children: Sarah aged 13, Robert aged 12, Emma aged 10, Elizabeth aged 7, and Mary aged 5. And they have 5 servants: Emma Edwards aged 21, and she is a domestic servant; Robert Brown aged 33, and he is a waggoner; John Tilley aged 23, he is also a waggoner; William Parry aged 18, and he is a cowman; and William Morris aged 43, and he is a butcher. 10 years later, on the 1881 census, Thomas Speke is still at the farm. He is aged 61 and a farmer of 325 acres. His wife Mary is 55. They have 2 of their daughters living with them: Elizabeth, aged 17, and Mary, aged 15. And they also have 4 servants: William Wheel, aged 40, and he is a farm servant; John Franklin, aged 30, farm servant; John Blower, aged 22, and John Davis, aged 16. I think they quite like the name John. I believe the Speke family possibly left in 1881 after this census was taken, as I found a newspaper article dated the 30th of March 1881 regarding a sale. Messrs. Urwick and Hunt, assisted by Mr. George Morris, are instructed to sell by auction under distress for rent upon the premises as above in the occupation of Mr. Thomas Speke on Friday, April the 1st, 1881. The whole of the farming stock, agricultural implements, the unconsumed winter keep grain in stacks, etc., household furniture and effects. Full particulars in bill catalogues on application to the auctioneers. Sale at 1 p.m. to a minute. By 1891 we have a new family at the farm. John Alderson is the head. He is aged 35 and a farmer. His wife is named Annie E. Alderson, and she is 29. They have no children, but servants living with them: Edward Vaughan, aged 50, and he is a farm servant; Thomas Vaughan, possibly his son, who is 27, and he is also a farm servant; John Marrow, aged 22, James Davis, aged 17, and Thomas Hotchkiss, aged 16, and they are all listed as farm servants. And finally, Sarah Chidley, aged 20, and she is a domestic servant. An article dated the 14th of April 1894 tells of a mysterious death on the farm. Considerable excitement was occasioned in Bishop's Castle on Saturday afternoon by the report that a man unknown had been found dead in a field belonging to the Lower Lee farm, and that he had been brutally treated. Various rumours were afloat that he had been shot in the face, another that he had his face smashed, and other similar reports. It was ultimately ascertained that while the rumour of the finding of the body was too true, the others were groundless. The correct facts are that on Saturday morning, shortly after 6 a.m, as a repairer in the employ of the Bishop's Castle Railway Company was proceeding down the line to his work, he found a man's black jacket, vest and billycock hat on the side of the line near to the third bridge, a short distance from Lytham Heath Station. He took possession of the clothes and left them at the station, attaching no great importance to his discovery. About 3 p.m. the same afternoon, Samuel Pugh, a bailiff in the employ of Mr. Alderson, whilst engaged in his duties of repairing a fence adjoining a wheat field, discovered the dead body of a man, partly dressed, lying dead in a pool a short distance from the railway and fully half a mile from where the clothes were found. The man's head was only a short distance from the side of the pool, his feet pointing towards the middle of the pool. The water was not sufficient to cover the body, the back of the head and portions of the body not being submerged. Information was once sent to the police at Bishop's Castle, and Police Constable Bowyer, with all possible speed, proceeded to the place indicated and with assistance removed the body from the water. The man had apparently been dead for some hours. Subsequently, the body was conveyed in a cart to the Clun Union Workhouse, and later in the day it was identified as that of Henry Rickards, a farm labourer who had been about the town since the 25th or 26th of March, having previously been in service at the Gatton Farm in the parish of Rattling-Hope. Occupied by Mr. Joseph Harris, whose service he left after 1 month's notice on the 24th of March, having then in his possession upwards of £4. From the 26th he had remained in and about the town drinking freely. On Thursday night the 5th he said he was hard up and left the 3 Tuns between 7 and 8 p.m. in company of a waggoner named Henry Bradford, in the employ of Mr. Fletcher of Bow House, ostensibly for the purpose of going to the home where he said he was hired. At the Bow House he made the excuse that his feet were sore and asked the waggoner to allow him to stay in the stables for the night, which was permitted. At about 6 the next morning the waggoner saw him leave the premises. He, however, left behind his bundles. No trace could afterwards be discovered till after midday on the Friday, when he was seen by a roadman named Davis, who was working on the main road near to the Lodge Farm, when the deceased passed him, and after making a remark about the weather, said that he had been boozing in the town for a week, and before had been living Rattling-Hope way. He had nothing with him. No further traces of the unfortunate man's whereabouts during the day can be traced, but at dusk a man dressed in the dark jacket and corduroy trousers, and about the same size as deceased, was seen by a young man named Alfred James lying in the large meadows about half a mile from the town. He did not see his face, but the clothing corresponded. No further trace could be ascertained until the poor fellow was found, as above stated, drowned. The inquest was held on the body on Tuesday afternoon at the Boar's Head Inn before E. Griffiths, Esquire, Deputy Coroner, and a jury of which Mr. Thomas Jones of Market Square was foreman. Evidence bearing out the aforementioned details was given, and the jury returned a verdict of found drowned. His remains were during the evening removed, being interred at Collington in Corvedale, where the deceased father resides. The deceased was described as a very quiet and inoffensive man and a good servant. On the 1901 census we have a William Alderson living at the farm now. He possibly could be a son of John, who's there 10 years earlier and was farming elsewhere. But he is moved in with his rather large family and servants. So William Alderson is aged 36 and he is a farmer. His wife Mary is aged 31. They have 7 children. Margaret, aged 9, William, aged 7, Morris, aged 6, Thomas, who is 5, Richard, 3, Mary, aged 2, and Doris M., who is just 4 months old. There is an Arthur Luscott, aged 26, and he is a carter. William Jones, aged 22, he is a stockman. David Trow, aged 21, he is a carter. James Jones, aged 16, he is also a carter. Alice Davis, aged 23, she's a domestic servant, and 15-year-old Ada Bamford, who is a nurse. On the 6th of November 1908, there is a newspaper report of illness at the farm. Inspector's report. Inspector Hamar reported infectious cases at Mr. W. Alderson's farm, where Mrs. Alderson has diphtheria and Mary Alderson has scarlet fever. The owner is Mr. A. H. Sykes, J.P. The inspector had written the sub-agent and had received no reply. The necessary precautions had been taken. The inspector, in reply to inquiry, said Mr. Sykes was away from home at the time. The inspection has been adjourned. So we can see from this that the farm is still a tenant farm and is now owned by a gentleman named Sykes. On the 1911 census, we have another full house. William Alderson is now 47 and a farmer. His wife Mary is 41. His daughter Margaret is aged 19. William is aged 17 and he assists on the farm. Maurice is aged 16 and he assists on the farm. Thomas is aged 13 and he is also helping on the farm. Strangely, they've got Richard down as 13 as well and he is at school. Mary, aged 12. Doris Mottram, aged 10. And there is a Bronwyn Elizabeth Roberts, aged 21, and she's a boarder and she works as a teacher at an elementary school. There's also a Hannah Bussey, aged 34, and she is a general domestic servant. Hubert James, aged 20, who's a cowman. William Morris, aged 28, and William Smith, aged 40, and they're both waggoners. On the 29th of December 1911, the newspaper reports on an accident involving 19-year-old Margaret Alderson. Whilst driving into market on Friday, accompanied by the wife of a workman on the farm, Miss Alderson, daughter of Mr. W. Alderson, met with a serious accident. Beneath the railway bridge, where the roadway was flooded to a considerable depth, she encountered a motor car stranded and unattended. The animal shied, overturning the vehicle and precipitating the occupants into the water. But for the prompt assistance of 3 vagrants, they would probably have been drowned. Miss Alderson sustained a fractured nose and severe facial injuries. Her companion happily escaped with a severe shaking. Dr. Seagrove Sutton subsequently surgically treated the injuries. Miss Alderson has been singularly unfortunate. A year ago she sustained a fractured leg and twice previously had met with accidents. She is reported to be progressing favourably. And then in 1913 another accident occurs, as reported on the 14th of June 1913. Mr. and Mrs. W. Alderson, driving home on Saturday from Craven Arms, met with a serious accident in the vicinity of Bowhouse Farm, where the road is rather narrow. In endeavouring to pass a motor car belonging to Mr. Frank Bartlett of Church Street, in charge of Thomas McKean, the vehicle went to the side and turned completely over. Mrs. Alderson sustained fractured ribs and other internal injuries. Mr. Alderson was pitched into the hedge and fortunately escaped beyond some nasty scratches. The trap was smashed and one of the horse's legs badly cut. Dr. T. Seagrove Sutton rendered surgical attention, assisted by Nurse Everest. Mr. Alderson is deacon of the Congregational Church. The pastor, the Reverend W. H. Thornley, offered special petitions on behalf of the sufferers on Sunday. On inquiry, we learnt that Mrs. Alderson is happily progressing favourably. Between 1914 and 1918, the First World War was raging across Europe, and not even this hamlet escaped, with young men joining up. An article from the 14th of December 1917 brought news from the front. The Reverend W. H. Thornley made the gratifying announcement on Sunday evening at the Congregational Church that Trooper William Alderson of the Shropshire Yeomanry and son of Councillor and Mrs. W. Alderson had been awarded the Military Medal for gallantry in Palestine. He is the first one recorded on the Church's Roll of Honour to receive the coveted distinction. A resolution of congratulations was unanimously passed, proposed by Mr. Samuel Davis, the Church Honourable Secretary, seconded by Mr. Morris Davis of Upper Lee. I couldn't find why William had won a military medal, but we do know he survived the war. He passed away in 1969, as this article from the 29th of March reports. Death after a day's hunting. Mr. William Alderson, aged 75, has died at Colbatch near Bishop's Castle after a day out hunting with the United Pack. A native of Bishop's Castle, he was the son of the late Mr. and Mrs. William Alderson. A widower, he leaves a daughter. Mr. Alderson was member of the Congregational Church, where the funeral service will be held on Monday. He was a member of the British Legion and the Bowling Club. Mr. Alderson was awarded the Military Medal in the 1914 to 1918 war. And then in more detail in an article dated the 11th of April 1969. Hunt tribute to Mr. W. Alderson, Bishop's Castle. The funeral of Mr. William Alderson of Colebatch, Bishop's Castle, who was well known as a sportsman throughout the border country, took place at Bishop's Castle Congregational Church last week, when many of the organisations with which he had been connected with were represented. Mr. Alderson, whose death was reported last week, was born in Bishop's Castle, son of the late Mr. and Mrs. William Alderson. He had farmed in Shropshire and Montgomeryshire. In the 1914-18 war, he served with the Shropshire Yeomanry and won the Military Medal during his campaign in Palestine. His main interests were in field sports, particularly shooting and fox hunting. He had been a committee member of the South Shropshire Hunt and of their pony club, secretary of the Thanet Side Hunt and president of their pony club, and at the time of his death was a member of the committee of the United Pack. On the day of his death, Mr. Alderson, who was 74, had been hunting with the United Pack, and in Bishop's Castle he had been an active member of the Congregation Church, the Bowling Club and the British Legion. The funeral service was held at the Congregational Church, being conducted by Reverend H. Emlyn Howell of Shrewsbury. Miss M. Malthouse was organist for the hymns Give to Our God Immortal Praise and We Love the Place of God. The cremation followed at Empstrey. On the 7th of September 1918, a newspaper report tells of another accident involving the Alderson family. Bishop's Castle. Councillor W. Alderson was engaged in harvesting operations on Monday, and whilst returning to the field in charge of 2 horses and a dray, the animals startled at something and ran away. Councillor Alderson was unfortunately knocked down by the roadside, the wheels passing over his body. He was conveyed to the farm, where his injuries received surgical attention. The accident occurred on the narrow road leading to Lower Lee. On Wednesday night, Councillor Alderson was reported as not so well. A report on the 13th of September 1918 reports on the sad death of Councillor W. Alderson. The borough and district heard with feelings of profound sorrow and heartfelt sympathy that Councillor William Alderson had succumbed to his injuries at his residence Lower Lee on Sunday evening. They were sustained in the runaway vehicular accident on the previous Monday, reported in our last week's issue. Deceased's injuries were of such a nature that very little hope was felt of recovery from the first, despite Dr. T. Seagrave Sutton's assiduous attention to the case and the summoning to the bedside of Dr. MacLeod of Shrewsbury and capable nursing assistance. The deceased, who was 54 years of age last May, was greatly respected and esteemed over an extended area. He was the son of Mr. Alderson. His death is an irreparable loss to agriculture. He was one of the first pioneers of the South Shropshire Farmers' Union, of which he was a vice president, and he laboured indefatigably and energetically to promote the cause of agriculture and the national recognition of its rightful position as one of the important industries of the country. His stalwart figure and genial features were familiar in the local markets and the neighbouring ones of the county and over the border. He was a noted breeder of farm stock, particularly horses, and officiated as judge at local and neighbouring county shows, besides being a successful exhibitor. He was one of the vice presidents of the Bishop's Castle Agricultural Society and took a keen personal interest in its annual exhibitions on the Lee Road. He had farmed at Lower Lee for a long period and was one of the senior tenants on the Lyddham Manor estate. Recently, he was adopted a member of the Bishop's Castle Town Council when Councillor Sutton was elevated to the aldermanic bench. The local government board only last week approved of his election to the Borough Military Tribunal. Deceased was also keenly interested in religious activities in association with the Congregational Church, of which for many years he was one of the esteemed deacons. He frequently addressed the Young Worshippers League members, in whom he evinced a deep paternal interest, also taking part in the weekly and outdoor United Intercessory Services promoted by the Free Church Council. He was a generous benefactor to the new Congregational Church Building Fund and in the maintenance of the church and its kindred institutions. His death creates a gap which it will extremely difficult to fill. Of a kindly, genial disposition, he merited the esteem and respect in which he was held. The bereaved widow, family and relatives are assured of the deepest sympathy of the borough and district in their distressing bereavement. And on the 20th of September 1918, a memorial service was held. A deeply impressive memorial service for the late Councillor W. Alderson was held in the Congregational Church on Sunday morning. Despite the inclement weather, the edifice, which is seating accommodation for 250 worshippers, was entirely filled. The congregation, including the Mayor, Alderman E.C. Davis, and members of the corporation, principal tradesmen and residents, including prominent agriculturists from Bishop's Castle, Clun, Montgomery and other districts. The Reverend W.H. Thornley officiated, and in his discourse, based upon 13 St. Luke, 43rd verse, bore eloquent testimony to deceased unswerving faithfulness and devotion as church deacon for over 17 years. His was, he said, complete life, a busy life, not for self-aggrandisement, but for the benefit of his fellow beings, for the glory of God, an extension of his kingdom. He also paid a well-merited tribute to deceased's appreciable activity and zeal in the course of the agricultural industry. In memoriam, hymns were feelingly rendered, and Mr. Mayland of Wolverhampton fervently sang the solo, Heaven's Beckoning Hand. Mr. S. Bennett was the accompanist. The pulpit and communion table were adorned with white flowers, and the pulpit desk draped in black. The deacons, Messrs. E. Pierce, Treasurer, S. Davis, Secretary, and M. Davis, occupied seats within the communion rail, with the deceased vacant chair in its accustomed place. The Borough Standard was half-mast on the Town Hall during the day. At the evening service, the Reverend Thornley moved a resolution of condolence with the bereaved father, widow and family. The congregation assented by rising. On the 1921 census, Mary Alderson is aged 51. She is a widow and a farmer. Her daughter Margaret is aged 29 and she does general farm duties and also home duties. Richard, aged 23, does farm work. Mary, aged 22, she also does farm work. And Doris, aged 20, and she does farm work as well. There is an Evan Edwards, aged 19, who is a horseman. Phillips Lewis, aged 18, he is a cowman. And John Kidd, aged 35, and he is a groom. Mary Alderson passed away in 1925, aged 55. Her cause of death is listed as influenza, embolism popliteal, endocarditis, and exhaustion. The document details a sequence of conditions that lead to exhaustion, with influenza listed as the initial cause, followed by an embolism in the right popliteal vein and then endocarditis. Presence of these conditions together suggest a complex medical history. Endocarditis is an infection of the inner lining of the heart, often affecting the heart valves. The embolism refers to an obstruction of a blood vessel, often by a blood clot. A popliteal embolism is a blood clot that has travelled to and lodged in the popliteal vein, which runs behind the knee. Popliteal venous aneurysm can be a rare cause of deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism, which can lead to life-threatening conditions. And influenza can lead to various complications, including cardiac issues like myocarditis or pericarditis. The document is certified with the initials of T. Seagrave Sutton, the doctor that seems to have treated most of the family throughout the years. After Mary's death, the farm is run by the 3 adult children still living at home. I believe Margaret is married and moved away. So Richard, Mary and Doris. On the 22nd of May 1929, Doris Alderson marries a Hubert Hartley at the Congregational Chapel in Bishop's Castle, and on the 5th of October 1929, a notice is placed in the local newspaper. Alderson and Co. Notice is hereby given that from and after the 30th day of September 1929, the partnership subsisting between Richard Alderson, Mary Alderson and Doris Mottram Alderson, now Mrs. Hartley, and carried on by them at the Lower Lee Bishop's Castle, is dissolved, and that said farm will, as from that date, be carried on by Richard Alderson solely. All persons having claims against the said partnership are requested to send in particulars there or forthwith to me or to the Lower Lee. Signed, F. Lavender, Solicitor, Bishop's Castle. Sir Richard, the only son of William and Mary Alderson, takes on the farm, and in January 1930 he gets married. A wedding of great interest to Salop agriculturists was solemnised at St. Peter's Church, Lee Brockhurst, on Wednesday. The bride was Miss Lucy Helen Neat, eldest daughter of Mr. P.J. Neat, a prominent member of the Wem Agricultural Association, and Mrs. Neat of Manor Farm, Lee Brockhurst, and the bridegroom, Mr. Richard Alderson, youngest son of the late Mr. and Mrs. William Alderson of Bishop's Castle. The Reverend S. H. Grimes officiated. The bride, who was given away by her father, was dressed in beige crêpe de chine with hat to match and wore a Kolinsky sable wrap, the gift of the bridegroom. She carried a bouquet of orange-tinted tulips. Bridesmaids who wore lupin blue maliqueta and rose beige hats were the Mrs. Winifred and Marjorie Neat, sisters of the bride. They carried bouquets of pink tulips and wore crystal pendants, the gift of the bridegroom. The best man was Mr. J. Hartley of Lidbury North. Stewart's duties were carried out by Mr. Morris Alderson and Mrs. Morris Alderson, who was at the organ and played Mendelssohn's Wedding March and the Bridal March from Lohengrin. Hymns were Lead Us Heavenly Father, Lead Us, and How Welcome Was the Call. The reception was held at the Manor Farm, and later the newly married couple left for their honeymoon, which is being spent in the south of England. The bride's going away dress was a brown visilka with matching tweed coat. By 1939 there is a new family at the farm named Hughes. The head is Minnie A. Hughes. She is aged 58, a widow, and does domestic duties. She has 4 adult children living with her. Arthur, aged 30, and he is a farmer. George, aged 28, he is a cowman. Wilfred, aged 26, and he is a shepherd. And John, known as Jack, aged 22, and he is a ploughman and waggoner. The Hughes family carry on at the farm and are still there in the 1990s. We have an obituary in the local paper dated the 20th of February 1993. Hughes, George. Passed away in Stowe House Hospital on February the 17th, 1993, aged 81 years. Funeral service at Lyddham Parish Church on Wednesday, February the 24th at 2:30 p.m. And another article after the funeral reads, Mr. G. Hughes. The death occurred on February the 17th at Stowe House Hospital, Bishop's Castle, of Mr. George Hughes, aged 81. George came with his mother and brothers from Lingon, Herefordshire, to farm at Bishop's Castle in 1938. He had spent periods in hospital at Bishop's Castle. He leaves his brother Jack and 2 sisters, Minnie and Winnie. The funeral service was held at Lyddham Parish Church on February the 24th, conducted by the Reverend Graham Lloyd, with Mrs. Brenda Jones as organist. Donations were given to cancer research and Stowe House Hospital. The final article is dated the 21st of February 1997. Jack helps Julian turn back the clock. A South Shropshire farmer has appeared on a national television programme in honour of a famous classical guitarist and had a special gift for him. Mr. Jack Hughes of Bowling Green Close, Bishop's Castle, was a guest on This Is Your Life. Classical guitarist Mr. Julian Bream received the famous Big Red Book on the show. Mr. Bream stayed at Mr. Hughes' Lower Lee farm and Bishop's Castle during the Second World War, after being evacuated from his London home at Battersea. Much to Julian Bream's surprise, Mr. Hughes handed him a national savings book which contained his farm earnings of just 3 shillings. The guitarist joked, "And I thought I'd never get paid." To which Mr. Hughes replied, "You have now, and it was good money." Mr. Hughes' wife Dorothy said her 78-year-old husband enjoyed meeting up with Mr. Bream for the programme. Julian stayed on the farm for about a year and a half, and he visited Jack in the 1950s and then returned to see us last year, she said. At some point, the Hughes family must have bought the property from the Oakley estate. In 2018, the property was valued at £1,718,000, but I believe that included a lot more land and farm buildings, as the property is on the market in 2025 for just £395,000, which now just includes the house, an outbuilding and 2 small paddocks either side of the house. The property is still in the Hughes family. A Richard Hughes, who we see in this photograph from 1992, currently owns it. I hope someone will take on this amazing house. I fell in love with it as soon as I walked in, but unfortunately, being a listed building and having a scheduled monument attached which requires upkeep at a cost, it's likely this amazing building will just sadly, quietly rot away. Right, welcome to this amazing old farmhouse. All the old wallpaper up there. We've got a hallway with doors going off. Got all the old hooks up there. Another doorway through there. There's the front door, all the cobwebs. Go on through. There's an old cupboard here. Can't quite see in there. But there's bottles of sauce and stuff in there. Got this lovely room here with its big fireplace, and got a picture of Queen Elizabeth II above the fireplace. Oops. Got a big window there. Not sure what that is in the fireplace. It's at the bottom of the grill. There we go. There's the Queen up there. Look at this fireplace though. The marble surround. See the tiles on the hearth. Go into this room. Oh my goodness, there are doors everywhere. Got the servants' bells up there. Look at this floor. Look at this room. Look at this. These doors are absolutely amazing. They've got to be original. That goes back out into the hallway. Got the servants' bells up there. Let's go through here. Oh my goodness, there's an old fire extinguisher. The old cone. Oh, this place is crazy. Don't know what that was. Let's carry on through. Oh my goodness. Look at the ceiling. What the hell? Look at that. You've got stairs going up to whatever that is up there. Got this old kitchen. Look at the old stove. Look at them stairs. There's another room going off there. More old cupboards. This is just your back door. Downstairs bathroom. Got lodgers. Bathroom. Toilet. Right, just got a little outside bit here. Not sure if that's an oil tank or their water tank. Looks like onto the farm. I've just got to be careful because I think there are people on the farm next door. Right, well, I've just come up those very steep stairs through a tiny door into this attic space, which I presume was servants' quarters. Got an old brass bed there. Just got to be careful with my footing. Let's carry on through. It's probably going to be stairs, easier stairs down to the other bit. I'd imagine if it's a servant's. See the old wallpaper. Oh my goodness. Yeah, looks like there's stairs down there. Oh, we've got more rooms through there. How amazing is this place? Right, up onto another. Oh my goodness, this place is a maze. I'm going to have to make sure I don't miss anything. There's more. Good grief. So there's more through there. Wow. This house is absolutely amazing. Got the old fireplace up here. Now I'm not sure if this was servants or if this was the families, because this is only the second floor. But we've just got rooms going off everywhere. There's another staircase there. Let's go on through here. Oh, this is the bathroom. Look at the bath. Not sure about the green paint. Makes it seem quite cold. But goodness me. Bracket there for the sink. Nice view out. Nice Victorian roll top bath. You can see through there the original frame of the house, the beams. Got a big hole up there. Right, let's go through. It's knowing where to go. So we've got another room in here. Another bedroom by the looks of it. A window above the door there. Not sure what that was about. I wonder if that was a servant light. It would flash. Maybe. More through here. There's a big door. It goes up to the attic. Right. Let's go up here first. This room. Oh my God. Look at that up there. So I'm not sure how much of the attic we'll see. Someone's taken a floor out. And another big fireplace. And they've put a sack in it to stop all the... blocked up the flue. There's lots of wasps. There's a massive crack there. Look at the size of that. I don't know if you can hear. There's quite a few wasps. And big spiders. But as I will have said in the history, this place is up for sale. Look at that up there. Right, we'll go up there and see how much we can see. Right, time to head up. Oh my goodness. See the original structure of the house. Oh my goodness, what would that be? What? Ooh, coal maybe? Oh my God. Considering half of the the floor is missing. It's still very dark up here. Right, let's have a look. The door's so low. I've got a duck. Let's go under. I can still hear more wasps and things. There must be a nest up here somewhere. There's a little door there. You can see all the original laths. Holes in the floor, so just got to be careful. Duck under the giant beam. Definitely a wasp's nest up here somewhere. Sure, you'll probably be able to hear them. There you go, you can see up into the attic, up into the roof space up there. So this would have been the servants' quarters up here. Downstairs would have been the family bedrooms. It's very strangely laid out. Let's go on through. Oh no, we've been in there, haven't we? Yeah, so head back downstairs and have a look around the rest of the house, because this place is massive. Right, so back down from the attic. I'll tell you what was interesting. I noticed up there was no fireplaces for the servants. Right, which stairs do we go down? We've got these fancy ones here. We'll go down here and see where they lead to. There's a cupboard above the stairs, which is interesting. Right, so come down those stairs and there's just more rooms going off. This big room. See, there's plenty of fireplaces down here for the family. But there wasn't one up in the attic, which was interesting. So, that's the view. The doors all look like they're probably original, or at least Victorian. So, yeah, let's go down into this other room. Big room. Another beautiful fireplace. Look at that. It's been smashed up a bit, unfortunately. There's the servant's bell. I think you'd wind it up. Wind it up. Oops, turn it like that and it would ring for the servants. You can see remnants of some old wallpaper. Not sure what this is supposed to be. But you can see some fancy wallpaper up there. Again, another big old oak door. It's got a nice plate on it there. Look at these big rooms. Got the beams up there. Lovely big window. So this was probably a room that they used quite a lot, this one. Isn't it absolutely beautiful? Right, so we're back out onto the hallway from the front door. I'm not sure what was left to look at. Ooh. Whatever's in there, the door's locked. I think there was like a cellar bit to look at. This place is absolutely stunning. Yeah, we've got this creepy bit through here. Right. This bit isn't downstairs, but it is like a cellar. It would have been their cold store. Oh my god, it's creepy. So that would have been like a pantry in there. Got a big hole up there. We could see that through the bathroom. And then you've got your cold slabs where you would have kept your joints of meat and stuff. I'm not sure what that is. Some kind of grinder, I think, or it could be a mincer. Yeah, you got your things under there. You would have kept all your meat. There's a drain there, so that's where all the blood and stuff would drain away. Because you'd slaughter your pig, whatever, and yeah, cut it up in here, and then mince it probably. Oh no, it's a cream separator. Oh, so for making cheese or butter. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't have known if that hadn't got that written on the side, so wow. I feel like I have to crouch down in here. I'm expecting things to fly at me. And then we've just got the door here, so yeah, you've got a door that would have come straight into your kitchen, your abattoir bit. Ooh, what opens? Oh god! Oh Christ! There's more. There's more. Right, let's go down here. I can still hear wasps and things. Alright, well this is probably a cellar. Oh my goodness. Let's go and have a look. Oh god. There's just wasps and bees everywhere. Right, well I think that's a separator, isn't it, for making butter? What the hell are those fluffy things on the floor? Ooh, there's been an animal pooing. Ew, that's mouldy poo. Well, that's nice, we won't stay down here. So some kind of animal lives in here. So we won't go any further. But that looks like a... no, whiskey? Wine? There's a load of bottles over there. Right. There's your meat hooks up there.